clean this time.
Different set. Those are gone.
This one's pretty blue here too. I'm glad that I want it to be blue. I don't want anybody else to pay attention to this pink. Let him stand in the corner by himself.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and we apologize for being 30 minutes to start. We had a little bit of internet issues, but we are ready to rock and roll. Appreciate everyone who's logged in. Taylor Fort Live is with us, broadcasting, and you've got a lot of breeders in the house here that are obviously watching. And as we go through talking to pigs today, Scott Chestbunt Smith is sitting next to me here, and Kelton Mason going to be on the far side of me here. They'll be discussing the stock with you. We'll kind of open them up, and we're going to get right to it. I know we're 30 minutes late starting, but we're going to start off with Doty Grove entries. And I guess before that, we should say thanks to Angie and Mari and the Horwath Ranch here opening up their place to put on this this great event, the Invasion, the second phase, Invasion number 2, I guess, but I guess we'll call it the September issue. But Doty Grove is going to be coming in first. Ear tag 302, correction 301 and 304. 15-10, 15-8, different league on the top side of the pedigree, tricked out, never before. Gentlemen, we got a pretty good pair here to discuss to start off with.
Yeah, this pair drops into the ring, and what a way to start a sale preview is all I'll tell you. I sitting visiting with Kelton over there when I was stuffing my face with a burger, and I said, I think there's a pretty good one back there. And guys, this tag 301 was the one I was referring to, and if that one doesn't get your blood pumping, probably ought to check your pulse and go buy a pen of gerbils and try to show them, because I think this thing is very, very unique. And I told these young ladies, Cassidy there in the black and Gracie here in the green, if they would just let that one go over and stand in the corner so nobody else would see him. That way I'd have a chance to buy that one. I think that's a very good show pig. And boar, bear, you determine. I think he's a bear all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. That one's look from the side and just height there at his shoulder, the way that one blends just down his top line. The spread, the natural spread, that one's got out of the backside of his blade, the shape to his blade and his arm, well then right near perfect hip and hind leg, big square toes, one that can just push and pull. I don't think it's rocket science. I think that's a very good prospect. Get in where you fit in, as the great Willie Kirkpatrick would say, and I think that would go a long way. And that's not to overshadow the tag 304 that comes in there. And we don't have a lot of notes on these, but that one's another mate to those. One that maybe just probably even maybe square right through his chest. Maybe has a bigger ripped up back than even the target butted one. One is extremely rugged in his skeleton. A really cool neck, cool headed one. Just a really, really good pair to start off our sale preview. Thanks Dowdy and Grove for bringing those out to the second 2000 invasion of fall 2024.
And again, that is ear tag 301 be the black pig, and 304 Doty Grove would be kind of the white pig with the smot on it. Jumping in next here is going to be 302 and 303. Same for Doty Grove coming back at you. And the 302 entry is going to be the gilt, littermate to the male pigs that are just out there. So same pedigree, different league, tricked out, never before. And then the 303 tag coming out, the other brockled up pig. That's a My Intention on a never before sale.
Again, another pair here, Doty and Grove, and we just saw those two. And like Scott said, an incredible way to kick off a preview there and set the bar pretty high, but I know that things will run deep. I've already been told a few times, as good as that August sale was, this September group maybe even trumps those. Again, feeding windows big. Just starting to talk about that 15-liter gilt there, 302, mate to those two male pigs that we just saw. And I guess you've got so much versatility there as far as a show gilt, county show gilt, San Antonio, OYE, or I guess for me, when you have two male pigs like that and we're thinking about building a sow herd or the resale value, I'd just mark her down just on those male pigs alone. But then you get in her phenotypically, she may be the blend of those two males, big hard back shape, huge chest and a thick arm. She's very flexible and a very good gilt there. 303, the other one there, be the lone different pedigree, out of My Intention and ever before Sal, as James said there, but kind of has that My look, but to me maybe muscle texture reads as one that'll feed just a bit easier than some of the My's did there early. Really like that one, skull shape, and then stoutness there. They had a really stout pair of them, if I remember right, from the first, or maybe actually 3 or 4 in the first sale. I think these are awfully good and matches that quality.
And heading out, 302 be the gilt, and 303 would be the brockled up male pig that goes in. Next in is going to be the Trogdon firm, and these are going to be the light cross hogs of the Trogdon boys, and these are going to be modern days, and in game be the bottom side of that pedigree.
Jared and Eric bring us a really good pair here. I know that they're fired up on this pair that are modern days. The dam of these was actually third in the division there at Pork Expo and champion Division III at Illinois State Fair. So that's not on these. Excuse me. Dam is a full sib. That's the red one. Dam on these is actually a full sib to Last Dance. She raised the Richardson bear that did a pile of winning there in Oklahoma last year. Just raised here in the last set. The champion light cross and 4th overall bear there at the Ohio State Fair. Guys, we dropped this pair in, a pair of blue bears that I think are very, very good. I think there's some subtle differences between the pair. The one that's got more blue, the tag 306 there, maybe just a little more rugged in his skeleton, but still just a really, really unique. The mate brother over here, maybe not quite just as rugged, but one that's got just a tremendous amount of shape in him, one that looks like just a really easy feeder that you can take to the show of your choice, one that's really extended out in front of his blade. Just a really, really neat pair that Jared and Eric bring us here. Guys, those Trogdon boys have got it figured out. They raise really good animals of several different breeds in this pig deal. And go look those up in the back because I think that's a very good pair of blue bears. Light cross division there at Austin, could get really, really deep there in March with this pair.
And again, that is the Trogdon firm 306, 307, a pair of light cross male prospect, seed still intact in them. We'll drop that pair out, and as Scott alluded to, they breed multiple breeds and do a great job, and you're going to find out here this 305 ear tag coming out, Duroc male pig, Cry About It, Red Kingdom, pretty special one here for you, Kelton, to talk about.
Well, Scott was kind of jumping the gun and kind of got here as he was reading the notes there, but obviously had a good pedigree. Dan was third in the division at Expo, champion Division III at Illinois State Fair, and a really good group there. Moss Settler, raised boar on the top side there, and again, Trogdons just do such a phenomenal job, not only in the barrow and the gilt show ring, but also just producing genetics at work, and been able to go to as many places as I ever have this summer and early fall. Particularly live sales, and it's amazing. I know we're selling male pigs here today from Trogdons, but it's amazing how many sows and gilts on the bottom side originated from there, and that's just a testament of how good the genetics are, how predictable they are when they feed and they breed on like that. This one, for a red one, in terms of just being extremely, extremely level-hipped, is still long from his stifle back and utilizes his hind leg flexibly and comfortably. He's still got a big chest. I think his arm is big. His proportions are really neat as well. I don't know exactly where you sit frame size, or I guess I shouldn't say frame size, but weight-wise, looks like one that could grow and get after it. We're here towards the third week there, middle part of September, and that looks like a San Antonio-sized one, but I bet you could do what you wanted to there. 305 from Trogdon, really, really good red one here.
And as Trogdon heads out with their Duroc, we're going to go right into Albright Swine Farm, and Dougie Fresh brought you a pair of them here, 308, 309. 308 is going to be a picture-perfect young love, never before, and then he's got you a Berkshire Hog, 309, New Balance on a special effect, and that's how I think's done quite a good job for him, Scott.
Yeah, Dougie Fresh here brings a really good pair. This Berkshire bear I had actually seen on the farm there a couple of weeks ago and thought this thing was really, really unique. And then Doug sent me a picture and video of this thing earlier this week. I said, man, that one's changed a bunch. And guys, we buy a Berkshire bear out of this sale last year that I thought was very, very good. He ends up second there at San Antonio from Doug. Out of this exact same pig sale this same weekend last year. I honestly think this one proportions up better. I think this guy is better at this size than what that one was. This guy's just build and appearance from the side is really, really unique. And his height of shoulder there, one that's really level out through his hip, has a hind leg that just won't quit. I know he's that boar. You may say, well, I've never heard of that Berkshire boar. That's a boar that Doug actually has there at the house. It's a special effects son. This thing's back on a special effects sow. And I'll just tell you, we got a chance to feed one of those specials last year they get stout. And so when they start this stout, can honestly say those things are going to get extremely stout. Let Kelton tell you about the crossbred just for a second there.
I think Scott thought I wanted to jump in here. I was trying to find the notes and go, but that's an intriguing kind of a pig there in terms of just neck set, his neck on top of his shoulder blade where it needs to, or those champions tend to have, and looks like he just carved out his throat latch, and still for a really attractive front-end one. That one reads stout to me. He's big in his pin set. I call him extremely immature, and one of those that still has a good turn to his forerib. Looks like a feeding window would be good there again on him. Really, really good belted one there. And again, Albright's always seem to have some of them that turn out. He says that this is a can't miss sow for them, mate to the popular red belted barrow from 2 winters ago. This guy could be a hamp, and he makes note there that he could roll into Houston pretty easily. So again, another really good pair here by Albright.
Well, thank you, Doug, for what you brought, and we'll send Albright out. We'll start the Lance Ryan consignments, and first in is going to be the EarTag 310, 33-2 be the ear notch. Cheers, which is the Hilti Boar at Moyers on the top side of the pedigree there, and then Hit Stick, which Mom was Reserve York. I should know this, but they'll fill you in a little bit more as we go through it. Scott's got some more notes on this, but the Yorkshire Barrow prospect coming in first.
Really good white one dropped in the ring here from Grumpy there in the middle of nowhere, Illinois. And I like going by this farm. Was visiting with Kelton just a few minutes ago and like going by. Lance is just a true hog man. And just to be real honest, guys, there's a gilt there that I like a lot at the farm. And he told me if I got to get that gilt, depending on how well I promoted his pigs this weekend. So would y'all please look in and buy this white one? And so I can get that gilt out of there because she's special. But I honestly think this white one's very, very good. Lance says this thing's a gamer. We've fed some white ones out there that feed every time. There's no fit, no fluff in these things. There's no smoke and mirrors. What you see is what you get with these deals. I'm not really familiar with that boar, but the program that he comes from is absolutely phenomenal. Those guys have as many winners as anybody. This thing's just, and from a phenotypical standpoint, just to look at this thing, and guys, that one's hip and hind leg for one. That color is big. And his upper hip is huge. That thing's tail root is really, really big. And those indicators are there that thing is going to get stout. And yet at the same time, he's attractive from the side. He's a hog that's built good. I know Lance has got a ton of faith in this sow and in this pedigree. So reach in, buy this one. I'm like Kelton. I probably make as many miles as anybody and see lots of hogs, and white ones like this have absolutely been very few and far between. They're hard to find. Lance brings you a good one. Get in where you fit in.
Yeah, Lance got a couple more coming out as his Yorkshire entry leaves. We're going to go to tag 311. Another white pig here. I believe this one's got some specs on it. Light cross out of the Scar boar, which was the champion boar from Belton, I believe. Weisinger deal there, and then Filthy, that good Filthy sow on the bottom side of this pedigree.
Got here early this morning and kind of strolled through these things really quick, and when I turned this blue one out, I was pleasantly surprised. His color matches the shavings here. That one, whether he's blue, whether he's white, whether he's belted, very, very good show pig. Guys, blue ones are getting more popular. I know we made those blue divisions to kind of try to help those things out. I've seen as many good blue ones this year as I have anything. This one's stout in every sense of the word, yet he's still good looking. He proportions up very, very good from the side. This one just coming at you is square from, as the Shane Brenning likes to say, blade to knee to ground. That's the look that you're talking there. That one's toes stay square. Very, very good individual that Lance brings you. Those of you watching online and want to say, hey, can we make this one white? Absolutely not. I think you leave this one blue, put him in the sun, let him get bluer, and I think it even makes that one more attractive.
And a good pair that Lance brung you here, and we'll switch over to Newcastle Genetics, and 314 and 315 going to be coming in, and 26-liter pig, State of the Union on the backbone sow, and Andy brought you 4 awfully good pigs here. I'd encourage you guys to pay attention.
We start with the first two here, Andy, Newcastle Genetics, and always one of my very favorite places to go. Really a long-term friend and an awesome hog breeder here. And I was able to see these. I think they might have been dropped out a day or 12 hours or that morning. I don't know. They were pretty fresh when I saw them, and thought this was a good litter. I thought there was several of them in that set there. They brought those out there to kind of get their feet and legs under them, and things are going to be good. So this is the first time I've seen them since then, but was anticipating them coming out. The State of the Union pigs are always going to be stout and big muscled, but they uniquely still have some bend to their hock, and I think hogs there that feed very well, and these two I think represent that very well. The blue pig there was one that I remembered early, obviously a dark blue and a good color pattern. Proportions are good, great in terms of forerib design, and more so just consistency of body shape. A stout featured one there that doesn't look overly coarse and like he's done here today. 315, the off-belted male pig here is another one. I think that one reads even just that much more extended about his hip and that much looser there for a State of the Union. That one's kind of a greener muscled one, if you will. But like I said, those always are going to have a lot of punch and power. That pig has come a lot here in 2 weeks since I've seen him. Again, he brought 4 of them. I know Andy only brings out the ones that he's proud of. He told me as soon as they got out there that none of them were for sale. He didn't want me even trying there. He wanted to save the best ones for this deal here, and I think this pair definitely represents Newcastle well.
And again, 314 to be the blue belt, and 315 is the black pig. So good pair there, but don't go anywhere. He's got a couple more of these power barrows coming in. 312 and 313. This is going to be the 20 liter all out on the W sow, and that sow just produced, well, not just in Dallas, but had a class winner at Dallas, and then New Mexico State Fair is what just happened. Had another class winner there. So a young sow that's getting it done on her first parity.
Andy drops us another pair in 312 and 313, a pair of all outs, and all out needs no introduction. And what that boar did last season, especially there in Oklahoma, sells the world record crossbred deal there at the OIE. Guys, this pair is very, very good. A pair of mates here that are tricked out up front, that are level spine, that are level hipped. They have that kind of look, and then still kind of that rear leg bone is really, really unique. These things are big-chested. They're busted open. Just hogs that look like they're going to go home and get better every day of their life. You know, Andy and I were standing in the back, and when you talk about winning a major show, and you just talk about hogs that have natural spread and natural shape up high, and then you talk about just their pin set and their pin width. You know, unless you've got that, you're just not going to get along, and that's where these hogs are so good. They're so square pinned. They're so square. They're big up high. They're big in their upper hip, and yet they've got a hind leg that functions. They're able to take it back and push it back past their tail root. Just a really, really good pair. You know, some subtle differences between the pair. The one that Cassie's on, the young lady there in the black, maybe not quite as bloomy today, not as far along, but one that's still sharp dressed and sharp looking up front. And then the hog that Gracie's on there, young lady in the green, is maybe a little further along pounds wise and starting to mature, but both of them are a little later maturing hogs that look like they have a big feeding window. Buy them where you want to take them to. I think this pair is very, very good.
Newcastle heads out. We're transitioning into the Outlaw Duroc firm, and 318 and 319. 318 is going to be the big Ricky on the drop zone, and then the 319, 13-3 is going to be Philosophy on Set the Curve. So a pair of nice red ones here.
What's fun for me as we kind of go through there, we've got a firm here that has been prevalent and very relative for several years, particularly on the red hog deal. And you know, whenever they you know, their name is staked on something, and they're going to come out and bring good ones here. I think last sale they had a really nice crossbred too, sprinkled in on the red ones. But these come in that 318, the first one that we'll discuss, a little bit larger one here on the young lady there in the green top has. That's not not only just a power hog that's got mass and width and dimension, he's got a really neat look up front. And I think it's cool whenever there's, particularly it seems like in some of those red ones, they cross the ring and they almost look like a racehorse when they go. Their head and neck coming out of their body just a little longer, and they're driving off the rear leg right. That's a really good kind of a pig there. The other one's a little more moderate in terms of length, might be just a little easier in terms of feeding him to wherever your end point would be, but still wide and powerful and got a lot to him. So again, Outlaws crew is known for the red ones. Bring two very high quality ones here. Again, tags 318 and 319. Okay. What do you got here? 17?
Next in's going to be Outlaw Firm again, and 317 is going to be the tag. Born This Way on that good Here's the Deal sow.
Keep rolling with red ones here, and again, we don't have to show these against each other. And I think too many times in sale settings we say, well, here's a trio of them from Outlaw, and I like this one the most, and discredit that one that's in two. And then sometimes we say, well, that one's the combination, and maybe that's the feeding one. But if you evaluate them all on an individual merit here, this Crypt Orchid Barrow here has probably got the most raw shape, and comparatively to what red hogs need to look like early. I think he'll always be genuine in that regard. He's maybe really immature up front, but still opens up with a big body. Again, these have just enough size on them to be able to tell what you're getting there, and I think a good trio here. Again, this one would be tag 317, Born This Way from Outlaw.
And they're going to mix it up with you just a little bit. 316 is going to jump in Outlaw and getting away from the red ones. Got a belted pig coming. 1-4 is the notch if you're following that way, but Say So on a caught napping sow.
Outlaw drops in a crossbred here. Say So on a caught napping. Guys, that caught napping deal is taken off and looked very, very good. Some of the better ones I've got a chance to see this time are caught nappings there from Top Cut. This black-headed chromed up thing is stout in every sense of the word. One that's rolled up in his top there. One that's got a great look from the side. He's big-legged, yet he can still push and pull there off both ends of his skeleton. Just, I think, a really, really good prospect there that Outlaw has brought us. One that looks like he's got a little wider feeding window. So I think you could take that one to a variety of endpoints and be okay. One that's short-backed and could be manipulated just a little bit there if you needed to. This boar pig is a litter mate to the one they bring the first sale. This is a litter mate. That one sold was very well received. Went to a really good home.
Outlaws crossbred entry. We'll head out of the ring. We'll transition over to CK2 show pigs. We got a slug of them for you guys coming in here, 5 or 6 of them. And we're going to start off with 320 and 321. And this would be the 27 litter pig 320 over the top on the good to go sow. And then the 321 is going to be a tricked out 3 on the walks alone.
Pair of gilts here that the CK2 brings, and again they've got several entries here, but again gilts here that have enough size and like Scott said, probably as you kind of go across these pigs of this size and this maturity pattern are pretty few and far between. They've been either picked on or picked over and gone, or maybe just not good enough quality, honestly. But this pair looks like they'd be good feeding ones. That 321, the white crossbred gilt here, she's broody enough in her look, but still classy enough in the way that she's put together to make a show gilt. Square, flexible, nothing glaring, that is out of place, and it just looks like a really good feeding kind of a pig here. Berkshire gilt here is another one. Muscle's good, shape's good, really level-hipped kind of a gilt there. One of those that I think her maturity is right for that particular breed, and things would work well. Good lower body, and I think a nice pair here to kick off CK2.
And that is 320 and 321 heading out. 21 to be the white pig. 320 would be the Berkshire looking hog. And heading those out, 322 and 324 coming in. 322 is going to be nickel on Set the Curve. And the 324, I know they're really high on this one. Easy for you on the Breaking Rules, Sal.
Dropping this second pair from CK2, and obviously a little different here in a red one, and we've got a crossbred, and at crossbred, the easy for you deal has been very, very good, and so is the Breaking Rules. Guys, this is a really neat one here. I don't know if you can truly tell online how stout this thing is, but yet how elegant he still is from the side, and just the presence that one offers, and to have that just kind of rib cage rolled up in one and laid in one with that kind of natural body shape and back shape, I think that's a very, very good one. Like his color, don't like his color, I think that's a very, very good pig. For those of you that are going to ask, will he classify Berkshire? Hey, I don't see it, but I've seen stranger things happen, so definitely worth a try, especially for you guys there north of the Red River that maybe don't have to drop those chips in a cup. Might work real good there. The red one there, that's a very, very unique one, and red hogs this time have been hard to find. I'm probably one of the ones that usually has a slew of these things on feed. I don't have very many, and this gilt looks like she's doggone sure got a chance to me. Tag 322 is what that one is. That's a nickel on Set the Curve. We had the privilege of feeding one out of Set the Curve sister last year that went on and did really good things for us there from buyers. Those Set the Curves, they start a little skinnier. Guys, when I feed red ones, and that's the way I like them to start. Good built, skinny, and that's where this one fits the bill. Is her feet and legs all go the same direction. That one's unique looking in front of her blade. Got plenty of structure there for a red one. Thing's got a bright, bright future. Really good pair here from CK2.
And 322 is going to be the red hog, and 324 is going to be the Sox pig. $323 is going to be next in, $29.5. It's going to be a tricked out 3 on a Walks Alone, Sal.
Got another one here, a little more advanced in size. I'm sure you could tell that online as well as here. But you kind of go through things, and I've been able to place enough pigs this time that's starting to get reports, and we're kind of deep into the selling time here. And you grab those and you start calculating things that if they're at this size right here, and sometimes at a pig sale setting they scare you just a nickel, but these fit those January shows really easily. I mean, that's exactly where he's targeted, and you think you back up things a month from now, or a month ago, whenever we kind of got these things rolling, that would have been a perfect pig size. And so sometimes it takes them just this time to get them where the general public can kind of tell what they are. And this is probably one of those I would have said a month ago would have been pretty green and skinny, and now he's blowed up and made a really nice solid white male pig here. Great back shape, awesome look, still immature in his look, but at the same time looks like he's headed the right direction. Make a really good pig there if we're still hunting one to show in the earliest part of the season.
And that is air tag 323. Again, we're still on the CK2 firm. Yorkshire looking pig there. They got one more coming at you. Berkshire looking thing here. 324 is going to be the ear tag, and that's going to put easy for you on the Breaking Rules, Sal.
This is actually Lockman 325. This is an above and beyond on a legacy, and this is actually a purebred Berkshire gilt from the Lockman firm there. Guys, these above and beyonds, there's been a couple of Berkshire boars that have just set the world on fire this time as far as baby pigs are concerned, and what I've seen this fall at farms, at pig sales, and that's the top hand boar at Coulson's and these above and beyonds. And I honestly think it's a give and take. The top hand's probably a little cooler. The above and beyonds have been absolutely stout, and that's what I would say to describe this. When it starts there at her skull, her jaw, just her muzzle, guys, this one reads stout. I don't know if this is a show gilt or a sow. but this one looks like one that could go and raise you one as well. There's just not a frail thing about this one, and yet she's still tall-shouldered. She balances up good from the side. That one's pin set, and her ability to use her hind leg is very, very good. I think Lockman dropped in a real nice Berkshire gilt. Those of you still need one for that San Antonio Gilt Show, pay attention. This one's got a shot.
And I apologize for getting out of order here. Above and Beyond's correct on the top side of the pedigree. There is a correction on the bottom side. It's not Man Legacy, it's MB Legacy. So those of you following that genetic program, that sow line, that should make a difference to you. Next in, we're going to stick with Lockman here, 327, 18-5, Kingdom Come on the Anchorman, King of the Hill sow.
Dropping this belted gilt from Lockman, and I don't know if we've seen one today yet. May not all day that's got any more back shape than what that one does. Guys, I've seen hogs at 290 pounds that don't have that kind of shape up high. That's a ditch. But you know, the thing with that is she's still comfortable in her skeleton. That one's got muscle. You know, she proportions up. She's big chested. That's a really, really neat prospect that Lockman's got. One that looks like you could feed her, that has a great big feeding window to me, that you can push and probably still keep her in check, or you can let that one hang around for a little while. Nice pick from Lockman brings us.
Hey, we're going to head out with the belted gilt, 327. We're going to stick with Lockman, 330, 331, and 336. And as we get into 330 here, that's going to be the Waymaker, Brainchild, going to be the Duroc Hog. And then you got to say it again, Tricked Out in 331. And as you turn to page 3, I don't have that on my paper. Oh, sorry, the Journey Ambition sow.
326 is actually a purebred Hampshire gilt. That's a Journey on an Ambition. Guys, purebred Hampshires are not supposed to look like this, and one that's certainly got a chance that Lockman brings out, and one that's got a neat look up front. She's still good built. You know, she's heavy duty for a purebred Hampshire gilt. I know we sold a purebred Hampshire gilt here at this last sale that was well received. I think that Lockman brings you one this time that's very good as well. The crossbred bear there that Gracie's on, the off-belted deal or wider belted hog there, black-legged hog that she's on is Lockman's entry as well. That thing is a one-nutter. Just want to make that note. Crypt Orchid there for those of you watching online. You know, I'm sure he'll guarantee that. Looks like that other one's laying right in his flank. Kind of see it when he turns and goes. So I think that's pretty easy to fix. That is tag 331. That is a Say It Again on a Tricked Out. And I'd say that Say It Again goes back to Say It or Say So, and just aboard it some really good ones this time have been out of. The red hog is the Waymaker. Those Waymakers have looked really, really good this fall to me. This one's stout. He's burly. He's got bear proportions. One that looks like you could push him and take him early, or if you needed to sit for just a bit and take that one to San Antonio, I think you could do the same thing. Really good trio that Lockman brings you.
And I know those of you following home, it's hard on the ear tags. 330 is going to be the Duroc. 331 is the belt, the mill pig, and then 326 is going to be the purebred Hampshire. Got a pair of them to go, 328 and 329. Ryan's last set pair right here, 24-liter pigs. Walk this way on that big ticket sow that's done so well for him.
You know, sometimes we see these purebreds come in, and you think people might be a little crazy to bring them in. They're this part of the world and this time of the year, and yet at the same time, these white ones, these Yorkshires here can hang with a lot of them, crossbred-wise, or if you've got a show there. We've talked about feeding windows. I think too many times at sales we talk about endpoints, and then we all look foolish there come the winter because they are completely go at a different direction, and just depends on management these days. days. You know, I don't know exactly what age they are. I don't have that in front of me, but I bet these will feed to a January deal. They could go on to Perry, kind of wherever we wanted to fit them there, and still quality-wise, they'll still be right there where they need to be. Again, I think a pair of them, the Barrow Pig has got a little bit more size and skill to him. Very square built one, got a good look about him. The Boar Pig here has got a huge rear end, great big back, a big round rib cage. They're both clean jointed, they're strong footed, they've got a nice look about them. Very good pair of Yorkshires here. Obviously, again, that big ticket South has done such a good job for them, for those guys. Again, that's $328, and that's the Barrow. $329 would be the Boar Pig.
You know, Kelton, Mandy just pointed out something too. At OYE, the Yorkshire Barrows and the Hampshire Barrows have their own divisions now as well with pedigrees on them. So you guys hunting OYE pigs are starting to do that. You know, just dropped out before Lockman and these guys some opportunities here for that pedigreed standpoint.
Another note on that pedigree deal, from what I understand, James, not to interrupt, is that it doesn't count against your total number of barrows showed, so you can show that one as well as your crossbred to 3 you're limited to. I think it lets you bring an extra hog. There you OYE exhibitors.
$337. The 337s are
337. The
Is that
Gary
correct?
Todd brings us a
No, this would
really.
be Strieber if it's 337.
No, this is 332.
27?
332. James is not very good at numbers. Numbers are not his strength there. He's just the auctioneer. So we got to get better at numbers. Tag 332 from Gary Todd. Gary needs no introduction to the show pig world. You know, guys, and he certainly needs no introduction to raising very good ones. He and his family live there in Porter, you know, and they do this day in and day out and have very, very good ones. Not only has this gilt got a cool color pattern, but she's very good as well. One, that's way good looking, aesthetically pleasing to the eyes there, but just balances up very, very good from the side. You know, one that's green in her muscle makeup. I won't tell you that she's going to be the bloomiest one we're going to see today, but her muscle lays on her skeleton right. The muscle texture is right. I think this is a very, very good prospect that Gary and his family bring out to us.
And it is 332. I am corrected, and we're transitioning out. We're getting into his mill pigs here. 334 is going to come next. 4-7 out of the Wild Time Boar that's doing so good on that in-game Kingpin sow that Gary's way fond of.
We bring this off-belted male pig here, a 4-liter there again from Gary and the Todd family, and I was able to go there earlier this summer and see a whole set of pigs, and actually James was there at the same time, and we didn't have to say a whole lot or didn't say a whole lot because we're just enamored at the quality, the depth of quality, each one of those litters top to bottom, and then we're able to see the boars they're out of, and that kind of told the story. This Wild Time Boar is probably been, as far as whenever people ask me of what boar to use that'll keep them right, keep them flexible, still stouten them up and keep them where they look like they're going to feed, and that's been the first one I've told them. And I was impressed with the boar, but more so his ability to stamp this kind of design and look. This is a very good representation of what I think Gary and his crew's trying to do here. Extremely level design, his hip reads right. Again, like Scott said, the muscle texture reads as one that's immature, but he'll continue to power up and stouten up as he goes. He's got a good square foot in him as well. He's stout about his skull. I've had the opportunity to judge the Todd girls several times, and they're always at the very, very top end of the group there just in preparation, but the pigs are just made so right, and that's what you would expect from Gary Todd and his family here. So again, this is tag 334 out of the really good Wild Time Boar. In-game Kingpin is the south side, and I know that sow was very, very competitive as well as a show gilt.
333, 335 coming in next, and a pair of Mel Hogs here that they got to get you excited. 333 going to be littermate to the gilt we saw a minute ago, so say something on Echo, and 335 say something again on that Gangster sow.
Gary drops in another pair of chromed up males here, and we talk about their pedigree. James did, and the Gangster deal comes up in one of these, and you know, just shows Gary where Gary's paying attention. He bought Gangster there out of PT a few years ago for his kids actually to show, and they decided they wouldn't cut that thing, and the rest is history. And that boar has sired a lot of champions here on the bottom side. And obviously, Say Something needs no introduction to the show pig world. And guys, these are they're different in type and kind. The one that Gracie's on there, the young lady in the green, maybe just a notch more tricked out looking up front, and just but I don't know that he's as bold and bladed as what the other one is, but yet one that offers us some true dimension and shape of rib. When you step in behind that one's just so sound and athletic. His upper hip is great. The one that Cassie's on here, the young lady there in the black, like the hog that drove just a minute ago, the muscle texture is right in this thing. His toes all point the right direction. He's green. He's later maturing. He's the kind of hog I like to feed because his best days are ahead of him. Gary didn't bring you something he doesn't have confidence in. He's got absolute confidence in this pair they're going to feed. Go look these up in the back, visit with Gary. You'll realize why they win day in and day out. They come from good stock.
I got to stop by there yesterday, Kelton, and might encourage you to head back up there again. And Gary picked out a set of them, and going through them, he did you guys justice. But that gangster stuff that's in his line, I mean, you talked about it, what it's done. There's multiple sows that have done it, and when you get that pedigree put together, just awfully good things happen. But a good set of pigs he had up there, and appreciate what he's brought to us today. We'll transition on to the next firm here. It's going to be Strieber coming in, and I see 337. Is there another one coming with it? And 336 are going to be jumping in the ring together here, and obviously Dakota does a great job and been a good supporter of the Invasion, breeds great hogs all across the country, and that different league boar, he bred it, and Ottenwalter's really, really high on it there, and it's done good for everybody. But the 9-9 coming in here on that Boogeyman in-game sow, and then its litter mate there, a pair of them. Man, good things are happening when you get that different league in the top side of the pedigrees.
Buddy Dakota drops a pair in here of red belts. And guys, throw color out the window and just talk about quality for just a minute. And if this pair doesn't get you fired up on what show pigs can and need to look like, then like we said about one when we started out, maybe you need to go find a new hobby, because I think this pair is very, very good. Had the chance to stop by Dakota's there Thursday evening late, saw this pair there at the farm, and thought he was bringing a very, very good pair. The bear, you talk about one that's got the shape, that's got muscle, that's got look. One that's probably as dense a forearm, if that's the word to use there, as we've seen today so far, and yet that thing is still so comfortable in his skeleton. He's square from behind and just able to get out and push and pull. Then he's got the hair that we all like, the texture to it, his body shape and texture, his muscle texture is right. I think that's a very, very good one. Mate sister there, maybe not quite as big as far as in terms of scale, but pound per pound, she packs a punch. And show gilt or sow, I think that one's very, very unique. It's hard to put one like that together that's up that kind of bone and power and that kind of a comfortable package to get out here and be able to motor around the ring like she does. Thanks, Dakota, for bringing us a real good pair. I know he's got one more to come in.
That is 336 and 337 heading out, and 338 is going to be the next one in. Money moves on the next Intention sow, and 10-7, and pretty salty one coming in here, Kelton.
Well, again, Dakota continually brings them every weekend, and I haven't had the opportunity to get there, but I guarantee you the depth of quality and the consistency there is good, because it's hard to just bring them out week in and week out there with this kind of quality that he does. And he's obviously raised several very influential boars here currently as well. This one's out of Money Moves there. That is at Colson's, and a boar there that I kind of made a bold statement earlier, I guess in the year, of how much I liked him and that I planned on feeding pigs this fall out of him. I've only had the opportunity to buy one Money Moves, and I can tell you he's the best pig I have on feed right now. So I do think there is something to that boar, and I think this one follows right into suit. Feeding body type, rib shape, lower body's pried open good. Again, muscle reads soft but still shapely up top, square on his corners, consistent in their bone work. That boar, as well as these pigs out of him, I think have proved that we can make them soft, bendy hind-legged, comfortable and cushioned at the ground down and still have some pasture and strength there. I'm not going to say they're just the most tricked out, most exotic looking ones up front, but you study the length of this one from his shoulder to his ear, the extension that he offers. If he's managed right, things are right, and still that one's plenty attractive. Neat color pattern to boot. Really, really good one here that Dakota brought. Again, that one would be tag 338. 338, really good pig here again, belted cross.
And thank you to Strieber Genetics, 3 awfully nice pigs. They'll head out, and we'll switch over to Willington Show Pigs, 339 and 340 coming in. 339's the money line, Godfather in-game, be the pedigree, and 340 is going to be drum roll on the in-game, King of the Hill, Dirty 239 Sal.
You know, if you ever stop by Shawnee, Oklahoma, and stop by and see the set that Jackie's assembled there, then you realize these crossbreds, they don't necessarily take front and center stage there that they're typically the Spots do, or maybe even a Berkshire or two, but these crossbreds might need to. I think this pair is very, very good, and I know one of them's a money line, one of them's a drum roll. The tag 340, that is the drum roll hog, and I think that thing is very, very good. And that in-game King of Hill, Dirty Sal, that thing's out of. And drum roll is the one that Cassidy's on there in the black. I'd say he's the funny belted one, but I think both of them have a little different belt, so can't really say that. So the young lady there in the black is on the drum roll hog. That thing's looked from a side, and just his height at his shoulder, the crease that thing's got working down his top, and yet he's square. He's big in his chest. His breastplate and his sternum are just huge. I think that's a very, very unique one that's got once again, a bigger feeding window to me, one that you can push and get him ready for San Antonio with the shape of his muscle. But I think if you needed to sit on that thing and ask him to stay around a while, you could do that as well. The hog that Gracie's on there, the young lady in the green, another one that's very, very stout. This thing has cankles, so to speak. His legs are big. His appendages are just very, very raw, and they're flat, and they're good. He's not coarse jointed, and he's longer jointed there as well. One is extended. One is very, very bold in his blade shape and his arm. I think just a really, really good pair that Jackie drops in here for Whittington Show Pigs.
And heading out is 339 and 340. And getting back to the roots of the firm, 341 coming in here. Here's the spotted hog. And pedigree you've probably heard of before, Titan on the DW noise complaint, Sal.
Obviously, Titan doesn't need any introduction, and I've said it at every single sale. If there's not a boar that has dominated a breed, or if there is a boar that's dominated a breed more than this one, I don't know that there is. And it's because he continually brings pigs that have look, have style, and look like show pigs, and just have a unique presence about them. At the same time, with as much as he's infiltrated the show pig scene now, and everybody's used him across all the good sows, we better have a little bit more uniqueness there, and this one looks maybe a little bit different than some of those spots that I've seen out of Titan here. He's bolder about his rib, he's softer about his body, he's probably broader up top, and I read that one even stouter, but he still has that unique look ahead of his blade. As we talked about, Whittingtons are always known for very competitive spots. I don't get to see a whole bunch of them. This is probably my very favorite one that I've seen at a live sale from this firm that tends to dominate in this arena. Really, really good one here. I know a lot of guys are online. We're sitting there ringside, but I would assume this would have to be very high on anybody's list in the breed game for sure. Again, tag 341, Spot from Whittington Firm.
I agree 100%, Kelton. Awfully good spot prospect there. So heading out 341, thank you to the Willington Firm. 3 very, very nice pigs, and a great way to close out here. Going right into Knaus Show Pigs, another Illinois firm that's coming in, 343 and 344. 343 is going to be the 88-liter pig, Right Day, Next Intention, and 344 is going to be the 79-liter pig, Lead the Way, Next Play. And I'd say Kyle geared up a little more for the invasion here, Scott.
Guys, I know it's kind of a not very well-known firm there that drops this pair in, and Kyle Knaus. And all jokes aside, I guess Kyle probably rewrote the book for history, or rewrote history just a couple of years ago, with the pigs that he sold here in Texas, I guess, go on to win Fort Worth, San Antonio, and Houston that year. I don't know that anything even remotely close as that has been done. He's since then won Angelo. So has he won them all? Has he won Austin yet, Kelton? If he's won Austin yet. But I think he's won all the others in Texas. I think maybe one of them a couple of times. He just good stock. He brings a really good pair here. Pick your poison. 343 there, the chromed up one that Gracie is on is a Right Day. Next Intention. Right Day is the boar there. For those of you that are not familiar, the boar that Hammock sells there at PT that Kyle partners maybe with either True or Trace their own. They didn't even have him named, and then the pig started coming along. Decided they needed to name that thing. That boar was very, very interesting at PT last year. Thought that thing was good there from Hammocks in Oklahoma, who have been very close personal friends of mine for years. And then the Belted Hog. What tag is that one, Cassidy? 344. 344, that is a Lead the Way next play. These Lead the Ways have looked very, very good, and these things are stout. The rib cage in this thing, for those of y'all that are watching online, I don't know that you can see how truly just big cage this thing is, with a soft feeding look. Maybe one that's got a little vaccine knot, there in his neck. So I think that when that goes down and you just pay attention, that one's throat's still good. His crest is still good there behind his eyes. Guys, that one's cage is really, really big. Like I said, I think it was the last invasion sale. Something Jerry McLemore taught me a long time ago, Kelton. Those that are stouter headed and stouter jawed and have a little bit of throat in them but are still clean, those are the ones that are going to eat every day of their life, Andy. They're not going to have to go to the feeder and wonder if that thing's going to pick out the feed or he's going to eat. That one's going to eat, and you can tell that he's built for that. So I think you can manipulate that one and make him go where you want to go. Two very, very good pigs that Kyle and Ellen bring us there from Illinois.
And again, that's Kanath, 343 and 344. 43 is going to be the chromed up pig, and 44 more of the traditional belt. He brought a pretty good gilt last time that I think a lot of people were high on, and sold one maybe the day before, night before, very well too. But 342 is another gilt that he brings in here, and he don't let a lot of these things go. But the 36-9 gilt, Game Time, Next Intention, man, pretty special one, and appreciate Kyle and Ellen for letting this one out.
Yeah, obviously Scott talked about the success there at Kyle's, and that's probably just filling airways because everybody knows that. What they don't anticipate is that there's gilts of this quality that the Knauf group would come out, and this just proves how focused Kyle is to get the very best ones in the Southwest, not only competitive in the show ring but have some long-term value. And again, we didn't show very many gilts, or we don't as a family, and I don't really help a whole lot of guys that show gilts, honestly. A little bit more barrow focus as we go through there, but the gilt guys that we talk to, the number one thing they always say is, well, gilts just make more sense than barrows. You've got the resale value, you can show them more often, and in the end, they're actually worth something, and you can imagine what this gilt would be worth from Knauf Show Pigs that has the traditional Knauf look, awesome shape up top, a huge hairy back leg, and she's square whenever she leaves you there. Another very competitive one here, and like James said, he doesn't let these out very often, and always is never going to offer more than one or two in a sale. So a really good one here. Again, a gilt out of Game Time, maybe a unique one for them to use there. I guarantee you his breeding mind was putting things together whenever he mated this one. Tag 342, really good opportunity from Knauf.
And thanks to the crew up there in Milford, and that'll end the Knauf consignments. We'll transition right on to Lucas Prill coming in, and 347 is going to be his entry. Different league, Back to the Future. A little tiny one we got here, but certainly a lot of quality in this one, Kelton.
Yeah, definitely a small one here, and I think when we say that, probably about 6-7 years ago, this was the traditional size we'd take to pig sales. But I guess I'm going to misphrase it and misquote it here. Hilty continually says that maybe there's not a wrong time to put the right one on feed. This is a little tiny guy. We're right here in the middle of September. We're 2 months away from validation, and in Texas. So you think about that and where that size that one's going to be. And 60 days. Obviously, we talk about feeding windows. That's not a February show pig. That's going to be a March show pig, and we've got also counties there that reach further. But he's a good pig. Round ribbed, awesome hip and rear leg. He flexes good. He's stout skulled. A few times whenever I see these at pig sales also, I tell people, imagine translating that one into the nursery, what guys would pay for if they're able to pluck that one off a nursery deck. He's got a neat color pattern too. That's a really good kind of a pig there. Yes, he's small. Yes, it's just the middle of September here, so I dig in and like Scott said, get in where you fit in for sure.
I'll say something real quick to echo Kelton. I was telling Prills over there just a few minutes ago. Kelton, it hadn't been very many years ago that we didn't even start looking at pigs until after this date. That ain't been that long ago, guys. We started buying our San Antonio bears after the State Fair of Texas, and it was the first week of October. It's a long time till March. It's a long time till April. I know there's county shows in my part of the world that go a long time. This is a really good one. Look in.
Yeah, appreciate that one, Luke, and not to take away from what's coming, and excited to see what's next, because 345 and 346 are coming out at you here. 345 is going to be the 60-liter hog, pair of gilts coming out here, Buffalo Trace on the True Intention sow, and then he brought you another Yorkshire, had that real good one at the last sale. And that Prill firm, if you don't know anything about them, they've got a slug of pure Yorks, and they are serious and dedicated about it. And you'll see this Revive on the Meant to Be Yorkshire Gilt is going to be another special one that they're offering here.
Guys still needing a Yorkshire Gilt, and I don't know if you've got out and tried to buy these things, purebred Yorkshire Gilts. It's not very easy. And then when they look like this and they're offered for sale, you just reach deep in your pockets and get them bought, because this one can go and be very, very competitive. I was standing ringside there at the Yorkshire show at San Antonio Gilt Show last year, and we were honored to win that deal and also be 5th overall and get a pair in the top 5. And guys, those Yorkshires, the top end was good, and then after that, and this one can fit right in the mix with them. Then you get on the little black-headed target-butted one there that Gracie's got. That's not just a cute little show pig. That thing's got some really far-reaching pieces to her. One that's square coming and going. One that's built for speed, it looks like. I think this is one you could show early if you wanted to, and then take her for the long haul. It looks like as she matures, just gets better each and every day of her life. She's built right. She's got the right kind of maturity pattern. She's got the right kind of shape to her. I think that's a very, very unique one that the Prill firm brings.
And a good addition to the cell here, and appreciate them coming out and all the way from Kansas, America. And Prill's going to head out, and we're going to head into the Rasky firm. And first in is going to be 348, different league, bad to the bone.
Like I said, got here a little early this morning and was standing in the back with Russell and Andy and Clint and several of the guys when they were looking at a few of these. And the young lady that actually bred this hog walked this one down the aisle, and I kind of stopped and I said, "What's that thing?" And once again figured out this one was a different league as well. And guys, those different leagues, I just say it like this, Dakota, they're just different. That's just all there is to it. They're different. They have some of the major league quality, and yet I think that maybe that even some further reaching pieces than what that boar offered. This thing's hip and hind leg and his look when he turns and goes directly away from you is absolutely phenomenal. He's got a great color pattern. I know this young lady is, she probably a name you don't recognize. She's just a young gal, but brought what she thought was her absolute very best pair. Guys, this is a very, very good show bear, that can go and win. And it doesn't matter where they come from. Everybody has the same access to the same semen. They can go buy sows, so it doesn't matter if it's a name brand firm or not. I think this is a very, very good one.
And that is the Rasky firm. 348 is the ear tag. Trying to catch up on the phone. I'm guessing this is 349 coming back at you, Rasky. 19-1, another different league. Little different on the bottom side of the pedigree. Faith Alone, which is a boar that's at Brockman's.
Got another little one in the ring and a wild colored one at that, but still a very neat kind of a show pig. That's a little tiny head. He's still wide between his eyes, big ribbed. He's wide when he leaves you. He's stout in his feature. I'm not going to give you the same spiel that I did on Prill's small entry there earlier there. The one thing to also keep in the back of your head there, we're kind of the middle of September. We talk about it being early, but if you look at the list of pig sales that are actually left, there's not very many of them, and still at the same time, these fit perfectly into March. Again, wild color, small pig out of a very popular board. We probably see as many in this deal that you probably need to latch onto if you want to know of pigs that are going to feed. This is a good pig. I'd say definitely look in real heavily here. Again, might be one that slips through. I don't. He's going to get a couple bids from this table, I think, right here. That's a good pig. Congratulations there. $349 from Rasky.
And we'll transition them out and switch over. McGrew Show Pigs coming at you. And obviously known for their land race, but getting more and more known every year for the crossbred program we have, and the 353 entry coming in. Perfect example of that. Autocorrect would be the bore on the banner sound. I know Jonas is very high on this one.
This is the first pig McGrew's drop in, and I know that Jonas and them had another cell they had to run over to today as well, as several of the folks did. And Jonas had sent me a list of these deals and what they were, and thought this one was very, very good. And guys, this litter's actually out of the cheetah. That's actually become very infamous around their place, and said that sow basically single-handedly put their place on the map, and and throwing offspring for generations that have been sought after by different firms. And guys, if this quality is the indication of what that one did, I can't blame them. You want to get your hands on one that looks like this, and I was picking earlier, and throw color out aside once again. That's a very good prospect that Jonas and his crew bring. One that's stout, one that's good looking, offers some presence. Guys, this thing's sheer build and just power is really, really unique. That's a really good one. Get in where you fit in. We've said several times today, I don't want to take words out of Willie's mouth, but that's I'd like to hear him describe that one, because he throws some pretty good adjectives out there about that one.
And that is 353 from the McGrew firm, and we're going to transition to 351. And getting back to a Land Runner pedigree here, a gilt that they brought out for you, Wildcat, timing's right, Kansas City, and Power Pack pedigree, and excited to see what the pig looks like.
All you land race enthusiasts probably ought to look in here, and I'm one of those guys. I like good cruisers. I always have, and have been blessed to get pieces of that breed at several different shows. And this Wildcat deal is different. That boar is there at Crossroads. I guess we've got as many of those on feed as I possibly want to feed, but I think every land race that we have on feed this time, with the exception of a couple, are Wildcats. And they all have this kind of look, this kind of feature, this kind of true body shape, this kind of hair for this breed. I know that's a word that I don't even necessarily like, but their hair and skin texture is very, very good. Guys, this is a very good gilt that Jonas drops in here. That land race banner looks just like the rest of them hanging on the wall. And so don't be afraid to reach in here, get your kids a hog that can go win a banner and win a scholarship there about first part of February there in San Antonio.
And again, that's 351, the Wildcat gilt, and 352 is going to drop right in next. Wildcat still a little different on the bottom side. Timeout would be the sow pedigree, the 65-3 male banner.
Dropping another land race from McGrew, and guys, we had the chance, and actually with Kelton's nephew there and his sister, to win the Landies there at Denver. What was that, a couple of years ago, Kelton, with one from Jonas. And I actually texted Josh there, Brockman, before that show, and I said, hey, how's that Landy of Canes look? And Josh said, well, I've had better ones not get along and worse ones win. I guess we'll see what the judge thinks, and about typical Bronco response. And lo and behold, that thing grabbed the champion banner there in Denver. McGrews are known for good stock. Guys, I don't know where this one fits. If you push him to Denver, if you take him to San Antonio, what I do know is this is absolutely a very good one. I don't know how you make a little bitty head and a neck on a landrace barrel like that, Kelton, that's still that stout featured, that busted open, the right proportions, that kind of elevation, that kind of look. That is very, very hard to do in that breed, and that's what's happened in this breed the last couple of years is you find one that's got the extras, and then you put a little bitty head and neck on them out there, and they're just some far-reaching animals. Reach in here. Guys, this one can grab a banner at one of the big shows this spring.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one too, Scott, and that's going to be 352, the landrace banner barrow heading out there, and we're going to transition. McGrew's final entry is going to be 350 and power drive on the True Value sow.
I jokingly in the back said earlier, I made sure Russell understood that I agreed to commentate and work the ring. I did not agree to load pigs, Kelton. I was not going to pick this one up and load her. And guys, the thing about that is that we've got lots of shows. We've got shows that start this weekend as far as jackpots, and we've got county shows that kick off in November, December, January, February, March. There is a place for this one because I think she's got some shelf life as well. Guys, the thing about them this size, you can tell what they're going to be. They've taken the guesswork out of this. They set this one back to specifically bring to this sale. They were committed to it, and they brought you a good one. Guys, some of you that bought one early may need to regroup. Here's your chance to do so with a very, very good crossbred female from the Jonas McGrew firm. Guys, correction on that last one. That one is not a crossbred. That is a purebred Hampshire female. I did not realize that, and I apologize. That one from McGrew is a purebred power drive. I looked at the wrong one. I was looking at the autocorrect deal. That is a power drive. That is a purebred Hampshire female. Once again, that one gives you a chance to grab a scholarship there at San Antonio. That being said, we get into the Altenwater firm. And I know that Russell and crew need absolutely no introduction.
61.
This is tag 361.
And 69.
And 362?
69.
69, excuse me, 361, 369. Talk about this pair just for a minute, and I don't know how these two ended up in a pen together because earlier today it was just 361 in the pen. So talk about 369 just for a second because Russell, I text Russell there, I don't know, one night this week they were having an online sale, and I said, hey, and I'll tell you exactly what my text said. I said, I'm assuming that the better ones are coming to the live sale in Texas this weekend. He said, hey, boss, there's a couple in there you need to look at, but the set that I'm bringing to Stephenville, I cannot use the words that he did in a public setting, but it had something to do with, well, I can't even say that, Kelton. It's just not, it's not polite. You can't talk like that, Andy. And I was like, and somebody said, Russell didn't really say that. I showed them a screen, the text, and they're like, oh, my, he is fired up. And rightfully so, guys. When you see this set come in, these things are very, very good, and they're very, very deep. So the 369 hog, is a hog that's that I know Russell's very high on. He's a Slaps, which is the boar there from CNC there in Oklahoma. Slaps to the extreme, and this one's very good. And his bone column is flat and square. Just a pig that looks like he's. You can push on this thing if you wanted to. One that maybe have a little life if you need to do that as well. I'd say that's a Houston Austin type pig in my mind, but one that's very good. Then we get over here to tag 361, and I was sitting down on the very far end of that aisle over there talking with Rick Whitman when they turned this one out, and Rick and I both kind of took note on this hog, didn't we, Rick? And said, hey, what's that black-legged thing? And I got up and I walked and I said, Russell, what's this thing? And he tells me what he is, and he's a, that thing was a different league, Game of Thrones, and it's like lined up deal on the bottom side. And I said, Russell, that may be the very best one I've ever seen you bring to a live pig sale. He said, whoa, boss, time out. That ain't even the best one. And I said, oh, Russell, and guys, I'm not sure if he's right, wrong, but I can tell you this one's very good, and there's a couple more back there that are certainly in the same league of this one. I think that thing is a Houston Austin barrow all day, every day. that thing's blade, his arm shape, the density to that one's arm and his cavity. He's got the hair on his ears and his arm that indicate there that he's going to get hairy. Guys, it's been hot in Texas. I can't imagine California. Just this thing's ability to take his hock and push it back past his tail, to have that kind of feature, to have that kind of look with a square chest, and he's still square at his toe, he's still square at his knee. I think that's a very, very good prospect that Russell and the Alton crew bring out here.
And that is 361 and 369. 61 is going to be the black pig with a white foot, and 369 is going to be the wider belted pig out there. Transitioning gears, we're going to go all over numbers here for a little bit with Alton Walter, so you can't really follow down the sheet if you have one. But 362, 363, going to be the land runners coming out at you. Wildcat, we already talked about him, and straight white males. And man, that straight white male stuff did so good for the Alton Walter firm for so long, and looks like the Wildcat's going to click on it, Kelton.
I'll just say something real brief because we turned these out, and I had told Kelton over there at lunch, I said, there is a pair of landrace males back there from Alton Water that will absolutely floor you. Guys, I have a very good friend who is very passionate about this breed. I call him the Round Mound of Sound, and he's lost a little weight, so he's not necessarily as round anymore. And I went by his house last Sunday, and he had a set of Wildcats, and they were very good. And guys, I don't know enough adjectives to tell you how good I think this pair of landrace males from Alton Water are. I don't know which one's the best one. I said, Russell, which one? He goes, I don't know. There were 5 of them. I just grabbed 2 and came on. And I think these things are very, very good. I will never guarantee you anything in a show pick deal, but I will guarantee you one thing. Those will not be the worst 2 that show up at San Antonio. We've had the privilege of being champion of reserve in that breed several times over the last 5 years, I think 3 or 4 to be exact. I don't know that I've ever started one that I think has a highest ceiling is what those do. There are differences in the pair. I'm not even going to try to describe them because, honestly, I don't care whether you buy them or not because I'm going to. And from the look in Kelton's eye just a minute ago when he looked over at me and his eyes got real big, I would say he's thinking the same thing. So we may have to arm wrestle for which one's going to get the bite. That's a real good pair of landrace. You want a banner at San Antonio or a scholarship, just pay attention, buy the one you like. I like 363.
All right, that is 362 and 363 jumping out, and yeah, awfully good land runners there, pedigreed hogs. 366, 367, 368 are coming in, and pedigrees here from the 366 standpoint. Family Man on the kill shot sow, which was the Grand Guild at CYE. And then when you go to the 367, you're going to be Out for Blood, American Spirit, and then the 368, All Out, American Spirit. And you'll see a lot of American Spirit stuff coming out of the Alton Walter firm, and a good foundation piece for them on those sow lines.
Obviously, James, reading through the pedigrees, and we've got a long list of notes, and Scott and I both kind of deterred away from it. But the one thing, and I guess it was at King's last weekend, we kind of went through some stuff, and I had a couple guys say, hey, we don't show them by litter, we don't show with pedigree there on the paper, and we just kind of judge them obviously out there for what they are. And so that's kind of the direction that we've taken here. We get a trio in here. I'm not going to say they're all exactly the same, but they still offer a lot of quality as we go through there. The chromed up one here coming at us, the thinner belted one, I think is one of those that reads as one that you can feed pretty hard. The 366 pig here, you can feed that one the way you want to because, again, his front end's laid in him right. He's square and immature up top, but still expressive. I love his length of body and height relationship. He's clean jointed and just looks like a quality show pig. Looks like one of those that comes in. This scrotal ruptured pig there in 368. Probably, I don't know, everybody has different ones that they like per picture. I've never been just a huge advocate of photoing or judging off of a photo at a live sale. It kind of defeats the purpose. But this one's picture really intrigued me. And whenever he comes out here, he is extremely wide between his eyes. He's stout about his jaw and square about his skull. I like the length of body that he offers there because it looks like one that's can feed. His rear bone column matches that stoutness that he has in the front portion of his body. And again, he's not an overdone kind of a sell pig. I know Russell good enough there. He's going to stand behind, get that one fixed and healed up. That is a really, really good barrow there in 368. The 367 pig maybe has just a little bit more size with him, but he's probably the most powerful one in the ring currently. I know he's the broadest backed when you get right on top of him, but it's still a pig there that blends really seamless down his top line, his transitions. He's level in his underline too, and that's always going to give him a balanced look. Wide hind-legged pig there that shows as a dark cross and going to be very competitive. Again, I was excited to see the Ottenwalter group. Heard those live pictures. This trio fits right in the mix, and definitely study your lesson there in the back.
And that is 366, 67, and 68 heading out. We're going to drop a pair of them in for you next. 364, 365. 64 is going to be different league on the No Stranger sow. And then the 65 entry, the 77 litter pig, different league on the Good Game of Thrones sow. So lined up pedigree there.
Another pair of Ottenwalters here, and again, another picture there that I thought was going to be awesome. That belted pig there is dense structured, matches that in terms of body shape and dimension. I like that one's frame size and feedability there. We've probably talked about muscle texture more than I normally do at a pig sale, or maybe it's just brought up, but I've kind of seen that to be a feeding difference. And this 364 has the expression through his back to be competitive, but the muscle texture behind to feed. Really nice kind of a pig there. The red belted one, 365, stout skulled, big armed, absolutely monstrous chested, and he's one of those that looks like to me, don't just get home and get him on baby pig starter and push him hard, but he's still got bend to his rear leg and a great big rear leg column there. I know Scott said several times take color out of it. I guess we were able to sort quite a few shows. I know all the guys judging this time, or if you look back at pigs that they've used there at any of the Texas majors, as well as OIE kind of goes, where these bears would be targeted. The only time that these off-colored ones are at a disadvantage in my mind is right here today in a buyer's mind. Those guys are going to be completely open-minded to using whatever color they like or the pig they like the best, regardless of color. This 361 is going to, or 365, excuse me, is going to be as stout as any offering there. 364 on the belted pig. Good feeding pair here by Ottenwalter.
And that is a 364 and 365. We're going to run four of them at you here. Might get a little more confusing coming at you, but 357, 58, 59, and 60, and it kind of have pedigrees all over the place here. A lot for you guys to remember, but the 357 is going to be a different league. 358 is going to be All Out War, OG, and then back to a different league, how we're working there. So a little bit different, All Out War and OG in here, Scott.
A little bit of everything here. You know, it's kind of a bag of Skittles, but I think it's for high-quality individuals. I was picking on Kelton just for a second and said, hey, I kind of wanted you to talk that last pair because I really wanted to watch one of those extra close because I liked him back there in the back. And probably need to do the same thing here because I think there's four of them out here that offer some various types and kind. It depends on what you're looking for. Guys all the time say, hey, is there a boar prospect in the mix? And honestly, I think 357 there is. I think that thing could be a bear or a boar, but that one certainly got some far-reaching pieces that could help a lot of people out and keep you out of the ditch at the same time. And that's the belted here. That's the belted hog right here in front of us. It's so stout, and yet that thing's hip and hind leg work. Everything's in check. That one balances. That thing may be as big a bladed as any hog that we've seen thus far today, with a hind leg that's built for speed. I think that's a very, very unique one there. In tag 357 there from Ottenwalter, and once again he is a different league on a May We All, and I know that Russell has a lot of faith in that pedigree. What's the tag number, the one you're on there, Cassidy? 359. Cassie's on 359 there, another one that I liked awfully well in the back. This is an OG. For those of you unfamiliar with OG, that's another boar that Strieber raised. I'll be just as transparent can be. A couple of springs ago, I had never been to Dakotas, and I was actually over at Kendall Whittington's looking at pigs there that day, and my best friend in this world, Brent Hawkins, was with me, and we were looking for state fair barrows, and Kendall sent us over to Strieber's, and Strieber ran out a tricked out litter that to this day I will tell you is the very best litter of pigs that I have personally ever seen in my life. And there was some painted up ones, some calicos in there. Not even Hawkins and I that we had to agree to disagree on which ones we thought were the best, and we thought we were going to get to own one of those, and I think that was on a showpig.com sale, and the sale ended at 7 o'clock that night. And by 7 o'clock, they were so far out of our league, they were in a different league, Russell, and they were selling for boars. I know one went to Scott Dean, and one went to Weathers there in Oklahoma, and I don't know, where everything in that litter ended up. I think some of those females are still sitting around Shawnee, Oklahoma. I think I got a chance to see a couple of those the other day there at, and so that's what that OG boar was a tricked out son. We've got some OGs on feed this time, fed them last time, that fed extremely good. I think that's a very, very good show pig there. What tag number are you on there, Gracie? 58. She's on the 58, which is the all-out war hog. Guys, I've traveled a bunch this fall, and everybody always asks me, said, hey, give me your top 5 boars. And at the top of the list every time, Kelton is all-out war. We had a chance to feed a bunch of those actually from Nick and Neil Mock there that raised that thing last year this time, and every one of those hogs fed. I won't tell you that we won the biggest show with them, but every one of them got along. They all placed. And, guys, sometimes it's what you got to buy that you is the safe one. I'm not going to call this one safe. I'm going to call this one very, very good. And at the same time, I think he's a feeder's dream because his feet and legs are in check. He's one you can put on a feeder and watch him grow. I don't think you've got to manage this one a whole lot in terms of just foot and leg placement. I think that's a very, very good pig. Then we round out the trio with tag 360 there, and that's another different league. And if we haven't said it once today, we probably said it 132 times that these different league pigs are just different. They're good. Their muscle texture's right. Their skeleton's right. They're good looking. I think Russell brings a very, very good set here in this 4 that we've got. Look in, get the one that fits your program, your feeding window, and buy them with confidence because they're very, very good.
Scott, just to jump into that 360 tag you talked about last, Mom is a littermate to Game of Thrones. So, and in your guys' notes, 356, I think we've already talked about. That'd be a littermate as well. So, again, Mom is a littermate to Game of Thrones. 4 awfully good ones coming out there, and, yeah, maybe a mixed bag of Skittles, but in a bag of Skittles, every flavor is delicious, in my opinion. So, lots of good directions you can go there depending on what you want to start with and how you want to manage it. We're going to go right into 354, the blue belted gilt, and I know Russell brought this one for a specific reason, and, yeah, San Antonio and everything, have your gilt shows out here and where you want to land in Texas, but some of the OYE buyers that are starting to gather gilts and get ready together. I mean, there's a light cross prospect here in 354 that is a pretty salty lady. Sunrise on the OCD, and if you don't know Sunrise, that's a Kurt Morgan board.
Yeah, for sure. A really, really good show gilt, brood sow prospect. But let's just kind of stay focused with what I think guys are here for. One that comes in with that kind of neck set presence, height the shoulder, and then matches that impressive look when you get right on top of them. Are going to be tough. And then a blue belted one with a really good skin tone, and I think hair is right for that particular group. Ones that have this much muscle, and I hate to stereotype pigs in color, but they have this much muscle, typically don't have a hock that's that square and still can cushion there and go. She looks like a gilt at home. Just let things just kind of go and develop as she fleshes. She'll be very, very competitive early, but looks like one of those is a big gilt there come the winter. Will be very, very special. Again, I think, Russell's focused to bring in the very best. This gilt looks like she's got a lot of banners in her future.
All right, heading out is 354. And them good ones got attitudes too sometimes. 355 and 356. are going to jump in here next. Going to change our color pattern up a little bit. Both different leagues. 355, the 58-liter pig is going to be on the three-peat sound. That three-peat stuff has done so good for him there. And 356 is going to be the different league on the end game, and that's that sow that we talked about earlier. You know, where Mom was a littermate to Game of Thrones.
I just watched this one come in the ring, and I'd seen him in the back, and it didn't take Kelton but a second to draw stars by this one and said it's easy. And I called him a donkey, but wasn't quite as nice, because I do think that one's easy. Guys, if this white one doesn't get your blood pumping, I'll be the first to tell you, I have gone over him with a fine-tooth comb. He's got one little bitty, teeny tiny blue dot right on his tail, and that is the only blue. The rest of the blue you see is from the shavings. Guys, that thing is bred. He is a different league, and that a three-peat on the bottom side. Three-peat was a last dance deal. That is a solid white one. They do not come along like that. They are not supposed to look like that. If you want your kid to have a chance to win a banner on the green shavings in Houston, Texas, write the check for that one is all I can tell you. That one's very, very good. He's high on my list. And I tell you that with the risk of, hey, I'm going to try to buy that one, because that's one of my absolute very favorites, regardless of color of this entire set. The chromed up one, I don't want to take anything away from that one, because that's a very, very good pig that Gracie's got here. And guys, that thing fits lots of windows. That one's hard to build with a square pin set like that kind of natural back shape. Guys, that's a little bitty skinny neck on a big old body. And that's a very, very good pig as well. His color pattern's actually kind of rememberable. One that's kind of goggle-eyed and got some black on his hip. I think that one's very, very good as well. Dig in deep here, boys. Good pair.
Yeah, very good pair of them coming out here, and I'm texting, and I'm behind on numbers, so I'm going to ask the girls to help me out here. We have 371. 372, and what's the third one? 370. All right, 370, 71, and 72. So we got some light cross stuff coming at us, and we're going to transition here. That was the end of Ottenwalter. I guess I should know these. The small town pigs are coming in here. So 370, 371 are going to be the blues. Going to be Bluey, Misconception on Curtain Call Sow. And again, Bluey, the 372 is going to be the White Barrel Bluey on the Cardiac Kid Footworks.
Yeah, we drop in small town genetics, and I actually saw James this morning. I said, hey, did you not bring pigs? And he said, yeah, those three over in the corner. And I ran over to look at them, because I remember this little blue one coming out when I was sitting back there visiting, and that's the little blue one that Gracie's own. And guys, I like this thing. He's my speed. He's built for speed. And I think that's a very, very neat show pig. Guys, the guys that are sorting this year, if you think they're scared to latch a hold of a blue one and use it, we're not from the same planet, because I think they would do it in a heartbeat. These blue ones have gotten good. This is as good a one as I've seen. That thing is so square-chested. He's square when he leaves. He's got hair dripping off of him. He's got a color pattern. You know, back in the day, we always used to want those that were that wagey blue, James, and that's what this one is. He's got that deep, deep wagey blue color, and I think that is a very, very good pig. The other blue one there that cast his own is maybe not as advanced in his muscle today, and maybe not just in his maturity, probably a little later in his maturity pattern. But guys, I think that one is one that you can just take home, put on the feeder, and let him go, and see where he's at, 30 days from now, and then determine where you're going to take him and let him fit the show that you want to go to, because that one looks like his growth curve's just a little bit different there. Maybe got a little more gas in the tank. It could go early if you needed to him. If he gets home and stalls out, then take him late and show him in the blue division at Austin. But if he can push him to Angelo, so be it. We talked about that white one of Alton Waters, and I know that we're pretty high on that one. But James brings us a white one here, guys. That's very, very good. This Yorkshire is raw, and I say that and don't mean that in a negative way. I think as that one fluffs up and chubs up and gets some flesh on him, I think his best days are ahead. I don't think you can tell exactly how raw that hog is online. I think you take that hog home and just put that one on feed and let him fluff, I think that's a very, very good candidate in the Yorkshire division, maybe San Angelo, San Antonio, somewhere around that time, because his look from the side and his bone structure is just very, very good. Oh, and it's Backman Blue. It's no longer AG Blue. I guess I'm just too old.
That's 370, 371 the Blue Pigs, and 372 is the White Hog coming in. Small Town's leaving, heading right into 375. And 375 is going to start the Myers firm here. Looks like we got a Berkshire Hog Blacksmith. Consolation Party Boy looks like the bottom side of this pedigree. Good little male prospect coming out here.
I've been coming over here to the Invasion here for, I guess, a couple years, and honestly, always a busy time of the year, and we're usually passing either from another sale or another show, and I've, kind of embarrassed to say that usually kick through the pigs, write down numbers, and bid online, and kind of keep moving. And I was honored that Angie asked for me to talk about them, and more so than anything, it gave me the excuse to sit still for a minute and study them. And the one thing I told guys after the last sale is I haven't been to another live event in the state of Texas that offered that many breeds under one roof with that much quality. And so we have a Berkshire pig here that I think is a neat offering. He's stout, he's square. I think his maturity pattern reads as one that you can feed and kind of keep going. I read that one as a San Antonio sized one, but still he's got mass and muscle, and again, you can kind of dictate that, or the feed bucket will dictate that. But again, start off here with Myers. That was 375. Nice Berkshire male to kick off another set of breed pigs.
Yeah, great way to start there, and a pair of them coming out next, 373 and 374, 73, 74, both 8-litter pigs, ready-made, keep track. Chester Boy and Chester Girl coming out here, another pair to get real excited about.
As we said, just kind of keep going with different breeds, and I think if we kind of go across the landscape here, we could probably end up with one in every breed, as you come here. So I think it's a neat way to put a sale together, and whenever you do that, you get the very best that the guys have to offer. This pair of Chesters here, obviously litter mates out of Ready Made. They're stout, burly, if you want to use that term, dense, whatever the modern term you want to use for stout is. That's what these guys are. The male pig to me looks one of those that combines that extra robust body shape and muscle dimension, but he's extra tall fronted, has a neat presence about him. The gilt's a little more moderate in her frame size, but still opened up at the top of her blade, big backed, and like I say, whatever you want to use for stout, these two Chesters are that for sure. Again, another nice pair of Chester purebred pigs here from the Myers Show Pigs firm.
Myers is heading out, and next coming in is 376 and 377. This is going to be 4M Show Pigs, the 13-litter pigs, Scar on the M&M sow, both crossbred barrows.
There he is. Got him. Good job, Grace. That was impressive. We drop in the 4M consignment here, and Rayleigh brings us a real good pair. I know that Mikey's been fired up on this pair. He's been sending me Snapchats and videos and pictures of these things, and he really, really likes the white one there that Casty is on. And I texted him, told him I didn't mean to hurt his feelings, but I thought the blue one was better. And so, guys, pick them the way you like them. Scar on a M&M sow, and I think both these things have a good feeding window. I think the Yorkshire looks like one you can push on and take him early if you want to, or could stretch him to Houston or Austin. The blue one, one that could certainly sit around for a bit if you want. Blue one does look like a Crypt Orchid to me, like one right there in his flank maybe, so just want to note that. But I think a very, very good pair. Like I said, the last sale, Mikey's a newlywed, and his bride. I don't know if they're on their honeymoon or day. I saw Dad around here. I know Mike's here with these. So if you've got some questions, hit them up in the back. But I think 4M brings you a very, very good pair here.
Yeah, excellent pair there, and Light Cross Yorkshire, classifying 376 and 377. 4M's heading out. They brought you a pair of them. You saw them both at one time. RW's coming in next. Mr. Whitman and company. 379's where we're going to start out with them. And 379 is Blackjack on that Hero sow.
He's got two of them. I think there's a pair of mates, though. We start with RW there, and my neighbor right down the road, and always been good friends. Great respect for Rick as his breeding ability and ability to have some long range plans and match some things and make unique things happen. And that's why he's had so much influence on stuff. Been able to witness things here the last year or so, and I feel like we're just kind of on the cusp of that sweet spot where things are clicking and going. And we have right here a Blackjack sired pig here on a Hero sow. The Hero deal seems to come up quite a bit on those competitive ones on the bottom side. This was a very good litter, and I actually didn't get to see these prior to. I went and previewed the set that he sold online the other day, and I guess just a couple nights ago, and Tammy came up and said, hey, we brought the litter mates to the ones that you stole. So I already have mates to these. I thought that was a good litter. They were sound, flexible, good jointed, heavy structured, looked like feeding pigs there that had, again, the right kind of muscle, the right kind of extension, the right kind of bone work to end up a long-term impressive sow line. Really good board that these are out of. I have a great deep litter, good colored pig here that he saved out of that sale to come to the invasion. Again, a good way to kick off RW's group 379.
And out with 379 and right back in with 380, Littermate Brother 49.6. Again, Blackjack Hero, and way excited to see this one after that first one.
Another mate from RW, and when Tammy turned these things out earlier, I asked her, I said, hey, what hair pill are you using to make these things so big-legged? And, that was kind of a tongue-in-cheek type deal there because, guys, these things are stout. And not only are they big-legged, these things are not fitted up and pig sale even ready, I wouldn't say. It's just natural structure. It's natural muscle. And the big thing is their foot is big. It's not just a big bone column. Their feet are big. Their toes are big. Their dew claw spread is right. Their toe spread is right. And they're hogs that read like they're just going to be stout every day of their life. Like Kelton said, I was actually sitting there when Tammy was walking up picking on him about those two that he stole. They're out of the sale. And then he found out they had two more. And Kelton, I don't believe anybody's going to be able to steal this pair. They may cost a little bit more, so you probably did good there. I'm ready to come see you in Montgomery so that I can feed an RW pig.
And 380 will head out. 381 is going to come right back. And the third pig of RW's 51-6, Wintex white on the next intention sow. This one I believe is all white, Scott.
This was the first pig I saw Rick turn out this morning when they were doing the little sale preview back in the back and figuring out sale order. And I said, Rick, what is that thing? And he sees a Wintex white. And I said, wow. I said, is he solid white? And he is. Guys, we talked about a white one a few minutes ago that we love. I absolutely love this one too. This thing's, once again, like we said about those belted blackjacks a minute ago, this thing's appendages are large. That is a very, very big back foot. That is a very big front foot. His dew claw and toe spread reads like that thing is going to get extremely stout. I don't know if this thing needs to be a show bear, if this thing needs to be somebody's next herd boar. But I'll tell you that from the indicators that I've learned and what I've looked at, when they got a tail root like that, they got a noggin like that, they got a front foot and a forearm, as Corey Farmer used to say, like that, they're going to be stout. They're going to be heavy duty. They're going to feed. They're going to eat. They're going to get better every day of their life. Guys, white ones have been very few and far between in my travels. I think Rick brought an absolute elite animal here. Look in, pay attention. That's a very, very good white one. Rick's been known for raising red ones. He's also raised some really good white ones. This one fits right up in there amongst them.
Rick got serious about what he's going to bring in here, and certainly a shout out to him and everybody that makes it happen there at RW, because three very, very intriguing high-end prospects. As he heads out, we'll move right into the West Texas firm, and Clint's coming at you here, 382, 383, and 380, I guess is what it is. And I got some notes for you. 382, the mother is a litter mate to Iron Horse, and that's all I got for there. So long story short, 82's pedigree is going to read Titan on Guardian. And when you get down to 383, Dash to Fame on Consultant, and then Ready to Mate on the WD-40 Oscar Mayer sow.
Well, Clint's first set here, and again, another guy that I've got great respect for. Again, a guy that just kind of does his thing his way, and does it his own way, and is very opinionated. Just ask him, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's awesome there. A guy that stays convicted to what he believes in and goes, and repetitively times there, particularly in the breeds, but across the crossbreds as well. You'll always see competitive and at the top end of the group. This spot gilt grabbed me very quickly whenever she came in there. Again, one of those that reads shapely up top. She's got a big, flat, square sternum, and still her elbows laid in her body where it doesn't get too loose and round like a lot of the spots do when they come right at you. That gilt's muscle shape looks like a show gilt, but maturity pattern looks like one of those that'll feed for the long haul there. That's a really nice one there. Again, grabbed me really quickly. The spot boar pig here is wide constructed, very bold. He's got a great big upper hip in him, and still green enough up front there to, I think, keep his composition right. Seems like that's always one of the harder things to do in the spot breed for sure. And that one's front end and extension reads extremely true there. The white down-eared pig here, absolutely killer from the side, and a beautiful tail set that he has in him. He's long about his stifle. He's got bend of rear leg. That's what's cool about talking about pigs right now. Everybody's got that cool term, and everybody wants to talk about bendy hocks. That one has bend to his rear leg, but he's got flexibility, cushion, and drive and stability there. That's a green made one for that one. That size, he looks like you need to get on him and get him in front of a feed trough and go. His pattern, his flexibility allow him to do that there. Very good prospect there in 385. A good pair of spots there that grab you quick when they enter the ring. West Texas Genetics.
And those three will head out. We'll go to 387. And 387 is coming in, going to be a Napoleon Loudmouth. And the 387's mother is the queen of spots at West Texas Genetics. And this is the same sow to Mr. October, Iron Horse, and the reserve overall at Kansas City. That's the foundation sow at Yanis's now. And then 406 is going to be in next. I don't think we have information on the page, but Cyrus Southwest, which is the next Intention son, and JoJo's the Dam is Blacksmith sister. So unique group of them coming in here too.
Good spot bear and a Berkshire-ish bear, I guess you would say. And I was picking on Clint. I said, hey, looks like you spent a lot of time getting this spot bear tanned up and ready to come to a pig sale. And guys, all jokes aside, that one's very good. And that kind's hard to build. That kind's hard to buy. That kind's hard to find. And that kind's hard to make, if you want to use that term. And I know my buddy that raises those spots there in El Reno, Oklahoma, he loves, that's his favorite term, Clint, hard to make. And he sends me videos on Snapchat of those hard-to-make kind, trying to fair them and everything else. And, guys, I don't know where we got off and where we realized that good belt ones with flex and go and stability on their rear too and can grow and mass up and do the right things in maturity pattern, how those kind didn't become hard to make is what blows my mind instead of some of the science fair projects or experiments that we get into. I know that one's pedigree is packed full of winners, and to this day I will tell you the spot gilt that Ava Luke and them showed probably the year they burst onto the Texas show pig scene, truth be told, is maternal sib right here is still to this day one of my absolute favorite animals I've ever laid eyes on. Those girls had that gilt that summer and a Poland-colored bear that was a spot from Cornerstone that year, and that was a very good pair. That spot gilt was absolutely special. We were reserved behind her at Dallas that year, Clint, and I was tickled to death to be there. Thought that's where we had to be. Very, very good one. Maternal sib here. The Berkshire, I asked Clint, I said, hey, is this thing a pure? He said, no. He goes, he's kind of Berkshire-ish. And, guys, I think that one classifies. He may need just a little bit of help, but that's a very good pig regardless of color. If he had to show in the crossbreds, I still think you get along very good. You get that one, and as a Berkshire, run that one way to the top. Clint, thanks for bringing a really good pair. I know they're hogs you absolutely believe in, and it will absolutely feed. The thing when you buy one of Clint's hogs, guys, when you get them home and feed them, they get better. They're not going to get worse. They're going to get better. They actually get feed. You know, that's the neat part about them. They actually get to eat.
All right, so heading out is 387 and 406. Two pigs you definitely got big fat multiple stars by if you're taking notes on this. They'll head out 384 and 383 and 384 will come in, and I think I already announced 383, but it was 85 that was in a minute ago. But 383, the real 383 coming in, the 64-6 pig, Dash to Fame on the Constitution sow, and then the 384 is going to be ready-made on the WD-40 Oscar Mayer.
We've seen a few gilts today, and particularly purebred gilts that come in, but the Chester gilt comes and maybe not quite as big or as old as a few of the ones that we've had. And I know Clint pretty well. I think this is probably one of those things that almost hurts him to see a gilt of this quality to be in the ring and let go of, but you got to win pig shows, and you've got to compete at the highest level to have them. This Chester gilt is good, and she's got a awesome skull shape and look ahead of her blade. She's stout, but still very good about her jawline. For the ones that's that rugged about their bone work, she's still flat jointed. She still comes to the ground comfortably, gives you a great look from the side, and then leaves you with power. It's hard for me to say that there'd be a Chester gilt of this particular size that combines that many uniquenesses together. The Berkshire gilt there is a little more immature than I think they need to be. There, whenever I was raising a few pigs, we always tried to have a few Berks around, and a couple of the guys that were the most competitive, I kind of leaned onto them and asked what direction. They said, well, one thing's for sure, every day of their life, a Berkshire pig's head is going to get bigger. So you better start skinny, and this one's that way. But she is big-chested. She's raw up top. She's square when she leaves you. Get her on the feed bucket there, or as Scott said, just provide her a little bit of feed, and I think things will come. Nice Berkshire gilt. Really, really like that Chester gilt in 384.
And that'll finish off Clint's entries there, and heading to 390 next, which is going to be the Price Firm. And 390 drops in, paint the picture, branded. I don't think that's right. Wrong one. 390 is going to be top hand on a jet black, the Berkshire Boar.
Berkshire here out of top hand, and we've already talked about Titan's influence, but I would say the new boar or any breed that's going to have as much influence as any of them is going to be top hand. And what's neat is every live sale we go to every weekend, there's a high percentage of top hand pigs there, not because he got used a lot, but those tend to be the pigs that surface and get guys excited. This one may be a little different than some of the top hands that I've seen because he's even bolder bodied, even wider constructed, and just a really stout made kind of a Berkshire pig here. I think we manage him right, keep things slow, and keep him trim enough up front. His joint quality is good. His body shape, like I just talked about, it's awesome. A very, very powerful top hand Berkshire pig here to kick off Price's entries.
And that is 390, the 1510 entry Berkshire heading out. And Price has got a couple more for you. 13-litter pigs that are coming, going to be Durocs, both males. Paint the picture, going to be the sire on that branded sow that pops up all the time when you talk about Price and good Durocs.
Taryn and Cameron drop in a pair of paint the picture, Brandon. I know this grandma is actually a mate to Miss Opportunity at Swecky's, and a pair they absolutely have faith in. I know Cameron sold a red one out of here that got along really, really good last year. This pair is they're different in type and kind. Be the first to tell you that. But I think a pair of litter mates that maybe have even different endpoints. I think the bigger one, you can take that one home and just and put him on feed and push that one as hard as you want to push, because his crest and his throat looks like it's going to stay in check. And one that looks like you can just feed him and go where you want to go. The smaller one, maybe manage that one with a feed bucket just a little bit to go to a later show if you want to, or push him, because that one's greener in his muscle makeup. He's greener in his muscle pattern. One that looks like a pair that look like they're easy feeding, easy keeping. Hogs that are just going to get better every day of their life. I don't know that they're going to be the bloomiest ones you see today, but their skeletons are right, their muscle shape's right, hair and skin texture is right. Just a really good pair that Cameron and Taryn bring us here.
And again, the final two for the price firm, $388, $389. Pair of male prospects there certainly have big upside. They'll head out. Reeves and Smythe are going to come right at you. And boys, we're getting to Poland's right here. First time we get to talk about Poland hogs. 391 is going to be where we're at. 25-2 head start on the lefty sow.
Cole texted me whenever I was on the way here and asked if I was talking again, and I told him I was. He sent me a group of a whole set of notes, and I'm not even going to read through them. We're going to be able to go there, but I knew if Cole was reaching out, he was excited about them here. This is a neat kind of a gilt, and again, we've talked about the differences in breeds, and we've talked about the offering that we have here for a purebred gilt, and particularly this breed. I don't know that we've seen one this go around that's that tall fronted, that extended, that neat looking, immature, and I think that's a word we toss around, but we better be immature at this stage here, but still has mass whenever she leaves you there. I wish I would have read through the notes, but I think Cole is going to be here tomorrow. You'll be able to overhear what he has to say about this one. I think she's pretty special, a really good one to kick off Reeves and Smythe's entries here. 25-2, tag 391.
Yeah, I agree. That's pretty special. Poland gilt there, and she'll head out, and we'll transition into the male pigs that the Reeves Smythe Farm brought together, and 392 is going to be Otter's Pocket, on Top It Off. Otter's Pocket, that board did so good up there for the Beeman crew. And then, Berkshire Prospect, and then we'll get into the 393 Dash to Fame, Eagle Scout, another Berkshire pedigree that's so stout there, especially that Eagle Scout sow, and then we'll finish off with the Poland Mill. It's Look Alive, 983 on the Look Alive sow.
Again, we talk about firms being known for different breeds and different things, and sometimes I might think that comes off offensive just a little bit, because everybody, whenever they lay in sows or try to build things, are focusing hard and working towards one direction. But when I think about Cole and Brandon and their operation, my mind goes towards Berkshire's very, very quickly. The Poland deal's been awesome, breed pigs across, and they had a good set across in the last deal. But again, the Berkshires are, to me, have a little different look. These are dense, stout, big body kind of Berks here that are going to be powerful and burly, if you want to use those terms there, but still flexibility. They don't pound the ground like a lot of Berkshires do whenever they leave you. Again, manage them right, keep things together right on the feed bucket. There's one that maybe has a nickel more just raw shape up top. There's one that's probably even just that much stouter legged. And so get them, study your lesson when you get in the back from a firm that continually finds their way at the top end of this Berkshire breed. 394, again, one that I think from a classifying standpoint could go different directions there, but one there that reads expressive and big, or his upper hip, center stifle is wide but still square at his hock and doesn't bow there, comes at you square, and Gail got a good look about him there. I knew Cole was excited about him. I can see why his text kind of read that way. If you're here, again, you could probably overhear him even if you weren't in the conversation of what he thought about him here. Good set again, Reeves and Smythe, breed pigs there. They're going to be competitive.
RNS is going to head out, and we'll transition into Beatty Genetics, and all the way from Nebraska, America. They're going to start off with 396 and 397, and 396 is going to be the new creation on a blackout. 397, Dennis the Menace on a Trick Daddy, and a pair of crossbred belted hogs coming in, Kelton.
Well, again, affirm here that regardless if we're talking about purebreds there or crossbreds, have definitely cut a path there across the country there in every one of the rings, and always excited to see what Kyle drops in. I got a pair of belted, I call them Hampshire classifying, but crossbred male pigs here. Great big backs. Sort of the first impression there whenever they enter the ring, and honestly, whenever I come to commentate a sale or get to do a preview, I kind of like to not go through them in the back and just kind of have that first impression look here, because obviously in the show ring that is important, and that's what hit me big. Spread up top and broadness there to their loin. Got a great big pin set too. Their skulls reached out. I like again their height, the shoulder in combination with that width of body that they offer there. And again, as competitive as Kyle's pigs have been, there's something to these pigs about their ability to feed, and they're focused on the end point, not just a pig sale here today. Good way to kick off Beatty's group here. Congratulations to them.
That is 96 and 97, and 395 and 398 are going to be coming in next. And 395, Dennis the Menace, heavy hitter, and the 398 entry is going to be Wild Thing on Wild Side.
Another pair of them here that Kyle brings with great big backs and spread up top. They're probably even bolder, leaving you even bolder coming at you than the other pair there, which are a little bit heavier. I still think these have a good stretch about them. This off-belted one, that's one that's approaching here. That one is tag 395, I believe. That was the Dennis the Menace pig there, and that one's probably as big-armed and just stout constructed as any of them. One thing that we don't talk about in little ones enough there is just where their shoulder, their forearm, and front end is designed, and where that fits. As we kind of project into the winter, I feel like that might be a sorting spot. And this one's forearm angle or backward set there, and knee set and front foot, I think is going to definitely benefit them there. The other one had a unique pedigree as we introduced them. Wild Thing on a wild side, and that one's upper hip is as big as any of them that we've seen. Again, another Hampshire classifying one. Looks like it'll be competitive in the barrel ring there again. A nice set of crossbreds here that Beatty provided us at the Invasion.
Beatty will head out, and we'll move right into the Lewis firm 401 and 403. 401, AJ's pig, the 44-liter pig, Claws, Boardwalk, KOH, and 403 is going to be Claws on the Guns Vicious. This first time I've seen these things, Kelton, and I highly anticipate him. I thought his set last time was real good.
Yeah, I did too. Ended up buying 3 of them, and it was kind of one of those deals. Whenever I get into a set of pigs there that offered that kind of consistency and unique traits all within a group there, we just kind of continually clicked, or I guess bid away as whatever we go with that. And these look like they look very similar to those. I guess that Claws deal is for real, which we all knew that they were. Stout-legged and big-ribbed, big-chested. Their proportions are right. They look like competitive show barrows, and what caught me is not only are they dense structured, but their bend, flex, and athleticism was awesome. I guess we're about a month away there, and those have been on feed at home, and they're feeding true to what they look like there. They responded well already to feed changes as they kind of go, and I called AJ after the deal and told him maybe what I said to Scott there ringside last group. That was a set of pigs that Lewis brought that made me mad I hadn't made it to Iowa yet, and again, I haven't. This pair is awesome. Study them back there, kind of see where you project them, what shows they fit the best. They look like ones that if you're trying to win at the highest level, you need to definitely mark them down.
Yeah, that Claws deal looks like it's a real deal here, and 401, 402 is going to head out, and trio of them they're going to close with. They just got 5 of them here today, and 399. It's going to be the Spotted Hog, I believe, Talk to Me on a Boombox, Lampoon Sow, and then 400 and 402. Again, both of those out of Claws, Boardwalk, King of the Hill Sow, and littermates there. But, man, just quality real deep, Kelton.
I've said it a couple times, and that's what I always I don't like about having the microphone, whether I'm judging a show or doing this right here. I always sound like a broken record, but I guess I've got to eat my words that picturing live sale pigs isn't worthy, because this Tag 400 grabbed me pretty hard whenever they posted that picture. He comes in and is so sound and so flexible, athletic and loose jointed, but dense structured. I'm probably, again, one of those that don't get so big into talking about short backed ones, but that is a short back, a long hip, and a tall shoulder blade, and that combination doesn't come together, and that's why I am hesitant to use that term, because normally if they're short back, they're short everywhere else, and that one's not. Very, very good kind of a pig there. The off-belted pig there offers even that much more muscle shape, expression. I like his extension. I like his height. The shoulder, again, proportions are neat. That color doesn't bother me at all. Take care of skin and hair, and that one's going to be pretty flashy come his end point. And then kind of a different wrinkle here by AJ, bring a breed pig in, and I think another one there that looks like it's going to be a very good feeding one. Probably as far as classifying wise, I call that one a spot for sure, but 4 ribs awesome, square chested, good in terms of his front end structure for that breed there as well, and looks like one that's going to be awfully good there in the end. AJ's not going to send them down if he doesn't like them, if he doesn't believe in them. I think this set, even though I bought a trio there before, trumps the last one even. Great set by Lewis Genetics for sure.
Yep, doing good things up there, and always like AJ and Kim and everything that they do, and a good family and good people. And if you ever get the chance, make sure you stop in. They're very hospice to you too. That's the Lewis firm heading out. $399 is the spot. 400 and 402 are going to be the male pigs. 400 is the belt. 402 is going to be the primarily black pig. Route 9 is going to be coming in next. 404 and 405. 18-liter pig is 404 for the record on explicit, and the 405 is going to be the 20-liter pig, toe-to-toe, no discussion, never before, a pair of crossbred males.
Bring another pair here, Route 9, and I guess Scott kind of bailed out on us here there just a bit, so it must have been important. That's fine with me. We joke around about buying pigs. We're all in the same game. We're all got the same endpoints and go, and Angie and the crew asked us to give our opinion here, and we're going to give you that there. I hope he missed a couple of these down in, because I thought we ended strong here. We've got 2 different sizes. I'm not going to tell you that they're different endpoints, but look like they would be. The black pig here, obviously very powerful, good skull shape, could show earlier than obviously the little guy. That belted one, I kind of lied to you earlier. I said that I hadn't seen any of them. I did see that one, because they're over there in the wash rack there. My really good friend Scott Bearden was there back there. This one's out of the same mother, is that right, Scott? That we said same mother of a pig that his daughter showed at San Antonio last year. Just as things go, sometimes they kind of get a little puffy hawked every once in a while. Unfortunate for him, he had his daughter had won Houston the year before and had one that was right there in, almost favoring a leg, and with a puffy hawk, still made the sale and was at the top end of that class. That was a phenomenal bear out of that same sow. That one reads as a feeding one for me there. Again, really good pair here. Hope Scott missed them, but I bet everybody online and ringside didn't. Good job there by Route 9.
Yeah, pretty hard pair to miss, and creature feature on that little one there for sure. So 406 is on the bottom of your page, but that's the West Texas pig that we talked about earlier. Kind of got missed, so the pedigree's down there. We read it out as it goes, but once again, appreciate everyone that's here live. Certainly you guys out there in the World Wide Web that logged into Taylor Ford and crew, the young ladies that are running it for him, doing all the videos. Big shout out to you guys. There's a huge group of kids here, not only the ladies out in front, but the crew in the back that's getting pigs up. They'll be with us all weekend working, and again, Angie Mari, the Horwath crew here, opening up their ranch to an absolutely great event. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be fun tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Whatever time zone we're on here. Central, I guess, is what we call it. Central time, 1 o'clock is when the live sale will start. We'll transition over to Kennedy Ventures and CCI Live for the live broadcast. If you want to join us tomorrow, certainly we have the live auction happening right in front of you. We'll do another breeder Facebook post tomorrow, somewhere around 11 o'clock in the morning. We'll go ahead and run that at you. But those of you here, we appreciate you guys very much. I appreciate the hospitality. Those of you logged in, if you got any questions, call the breeders, call the help staff. Scott, Kelton, you guys are great. Always good on the mic. Appreciate you guys, and appreciate you guys being here. Thanks to everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow for the Facebook preview, 1 o'clock live sale.